Good day, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Mr. Holmes 88 here. This is my video on bipolar psychosis. I've suffered from what started out when I was younger, 18, as slight paranoia due to never experiencing symptoms in my life before. I was kind of scared of everything around me. And then I was in hospital. Anyways, I left hospital and I've been in and out of hospitals, on and off medications, different, just on and off medications, not consistently, of course, but I had a more mania in my life until I was in my late 20s, and it turned into I got my behaviors in like under control. And then what happened was it turned into spiritual. All of a sudden, my manias and disorganized behavior turned into a total 360, and it turned into this spiritual crisis, psychosis. I don't associate the two. It's a spiritual crisis. Psychosis is what doctors call it, and uneducated people. And all of a sudden there was a spirit in my life that appeared, not in a visual form that I could. There was certain aspects in my life that were visual, but this was you could feel the energy touch you. You could feel it enter your body, leave your body. It was very scary the first time it happened. It was like a ghost in my life, and it was scary as ever. I was living a horror movie and I love horror movies. If you look at my videos, you'll see I'm a collector of horror movies, which I don't really like watching anymore because my life tends, at least in the past, to have been a horror movie. So, but yeah, that's my partial of my psychosis, and it's I've over the years now I've come to terms with it doesn't scare me anymore. It alerts me, and I can sense it, the spiritual presence when it's around, and I know to leave my house, and it typically it doesn't follow it as long as I catch it early enough, and then I can take some medicine and come back home, and there's no more spiritual presence. And yeah, my latest I was in hospitals for many years. I was put on an injection because I was in and out of hospital so many times. They got frustrated with me and thought I was just not respecting the hospital. And then I was off my injection, but under orders to take supplement or the medicine in my mouth every day, every night for. I was on it for about 2 years, and then I was off orders. But yeah, I've over the periods of time, I came back into spiritual crisis a few times, and I learned each time as to how the spirit reacts and attacks me, and I've put up defenses and learned about my book. I haven't been in hospital for 5 years now. There's been 4 days where I've been in emergency because I was overwhelmed by this spiritual attack, but that was probably about 4 years ago now, and there was a point where I was in spirit psychosis, relapse. If we talk, this is a spiritual crisis, but we'll call it psychosis. And I relapsed, and it lasted 33 nights, and I got out of the crisis by taking medication for 33 nights, and it's been an amazing trip. Yeah. I don't recommend other people do this outside of doctors or supervision. because you have to know what you're doing to get out of a crisis. You can't just think that medicine alone can get you out of a crisis. Sometimes you need a safe place to go, and I have safe places I go. I can't just be at home for 33 nights and expect to the full time and be out of spiritual attack. That's just, I need a couple places to go to, and because the energy, it doesn't always, 99% of the time, it doesn't follow you. It stays, or at least for me, it stays in my home, and I can go somewhere else, sleep, take medicine, and even stay there for a week, and then come home and have a feeling of the house and see how it is. And if it's safe, I'll take medicine, sleep at my house. If not, I go back to other house. So I have plans in place in an emergency, and I'm a very happy person in life now that I've been able to get 4 days in hospital and out of hospital emergency room, being that I missed medicine for 1 day, and I slipped into a spiritual crisis. I don't know, like I was doing stupid things in my life, like that. Even though I was on medicine, I was not respecting like the wishes of a spiritual level of being inside myself. I was abusing myself. So even 1 day off medicine, you can slip into a spiritual crisis. It's definitely not at that level anymore, but it's still very present. If I stop taking it for 5 nights, I can feel a sense of the spiritual entity come near me, and I have to leave the house, take my meds, come back, and that's just nonsense. Like, I may as well just take my medicine and stay spiritually free, psychosis free. So, like I can't. I've learned a lot about what's attacking me over the years, and had a lesson, or not lesson, or how to deal with the attack. So guys, I'm going to keep this video under 10 minutes, maybe just 8-9 minutes here. But my spiritual crisis, I'm making a book about it, and not just about that, but what supplements work for me and what supplements don't work for me, what diet works for me, what diets work for me, work history, biography. There's quite a bit of stuff in my book. I'm not trying to promote my book here. If once my book's out, then I'll make a video on promoting my book. This is just about psychosis, and without going into all the ways it attacks me, it's my attacker. The spiritual attack is very symptomatic, precise in its attacks, and very 360. It'll one psychosis or relapse is identical into another. The way it attacks is always the same. So sorry, I keep saying my book, but it's because that's where I wrote all my information down. Every attack, I learn exactly how it works, so I learn how to defend myself from it. So I use an emergency plan. I use tools, physical stuff in my house to combat it. Spiritual stuff in my life to combat it, like certain things. But it's definitely real. It's not inside my head, as some nurses, not nurses, but a nurse. He's a male nurse. But he says, Jason, this is inside your head. And I just said to him, I'm not going to sit there and argue with a nurse that doesn't believe in, even though he sees people all the time, he doesn't believe in spiritual crisis. I just said to him, yes, it's in my head. Okay. Like, let's, that was 4 nights I was in hospital. I saw him, anyways, under 10 minutes this video. So guys, let's cut off now. Thank you for listening. Mr. Holmes 88 signing out, and I'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe to see more videos like this.